This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation. Hi, my name is Les, and I love soaps. And I mean all of the soaps. Days of Our Lives, The Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, General Hospital. I also love soaps in the UK. Yes, that is Coronation Street, Emmerdale, and EastEnders. So join me as I talk about all of our favorite soaps in the USA and the UK, and I try to make sense of them. Yes, Les loves soaps, wherever you find podcasts. Well, hello everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. Another day of a lifetime of Hallmark. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
We take movies from both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them.
We're not very successful, though, because they don't often make sense, but they are fun to watch.
And we go down all kinds of rabbit holes. We talk about Angelian quite a bit. We talk about the show Enos.
June Squibb. We are team June Squibb all the way.
And we have Black China news every single episode.
So with that in mind, why don't you listen to a lifetime of Hallmark? You can listen wherever you get your favorite podcast.
Let me know if I'm too loud.
Okay.
I feel like I'm too loud.
Okay, no, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
And we are ready. Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of The Reality Reading Rainbow, where I talk about books written by reality stars and try to make sense of them. I also do interviews. And today I am doing an interview with two people who I feel that I already know because I have been corresponding with them for years. Now, if you're a Watch What Crappens fan, you know what a Geraldine is. And these are two of my fellow Geraldines. So welcome, Aarti and Noor. Hello.
Hi. Oh my God, that made me so happy.
Oh,
it made me so happy. That just filled me up with so much joy. Thank you.
It's so funny though. It's so funny because we've been chatting for years. I think
Yes.
years, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
It's been, and it's a wonderful family. It's a wonderful family. There's so many other podcasters also in that group, and we all get along, and it's so much fun.
Isn't it funny though? I'm kind of looking at I'm not going to say the name of the group that we belong to, but the group that we belong to. It almost seems like lately that is the room where podcasts are born.
Yes.
Because this one originated from that room. Yours originated from that room. There are other ones that originated from that room.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about it too is, Ben and Ronnie from Watch What Crappens have been nothing but supportive.
Yes.
So
They are awesome. Well, you forgot something, Les, in our introduction.
What?
You forgot to mention who helped you name your podcast.
Yes, you. Wait, thank you.
Aarti is looking for checks, honey. She is waiting for her cut of the deal. Okay,
Yes.
she came on the podcast today to shake you down, honey.
Well, okay.
Where's my 10 cents of the where's my 10 cents of the dollar? 10% agent cut.
You're 10%, so you'll get from Patreon, 10%, you'll get $6.80.
I thought it was going to be literally 10 cents. Yes, and one of the fun facts is another fun fact is that I came up with the name Geraldine.
You did?
Did you really?
Yes. So everybody kept calling. There was one time, like everybody was trying to come up with names, and they would keep saying crappeners and crappeners and crappens, and there's so many other weird forms that did not roll over our tongue. And then I just started using Geraldines. I just started doing it, and then within a week, everybody was calling each other Geraldines.
Oh
and that's why Ronnie made that pin, that Geraldine pin. He gave it to me at the Philadelphia show. He's like,
it's the perfect name. It's the perfect name. It really is. Oh, so you're both on the East Coast, correct?
Yes.
So
yes.
So you've been to like some of the Crappin shows when they go on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so looking forward to going to a Crappin show.
You haven't been to one?
No, I'm not.
I thought you have been to the LA one, no?
No, I have not.
There was one in LA, one in Irvine.
There was one in LA. I was gonna go
two in Irvine. Yeah.
I was gonna go to one that got canceled.
Yes.
So I was gonna
yes.
I was gonna go to one pre-COVID that got canceled. But it's funny because even though I haven't been to any of the lives, I lived in West Hollywood for many, many years. I live 10 minutes away from West Hollywood now.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I go to Sir, I go to Pump, I go to, I go to Tom Tom. With my husband and I, our first date was at Pump.
Oh wow.
So even though I haven't been to any of the lives, I still feel that I'm a part of things,
I always view you, Les, as the West Hollywood boots on the ground. Like whenever anything was going on with VPR or even Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, anything to do with like Lisa Vanderpump, it was like Les is going to report as boots on the ground. He's going to tell us what's really going on.
Oh my God. Okay. Do you two remember this? Remember when I was accused of being a racist?
Yes.
An iconic moment. It was so
an iconic moment.
By the way, listeners,
is it a 1-year anniversary for that?
It
must be close. It must be 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It's 2-year anniversary of Les being a racist. Okay.
Right. And listeners, if you've never seen me, I'm Black. Okay, so we'll preface it with that. So what happened is this was around the time that all of the racist stuff from Vanderpump Rules started coming out.
Yes.
I think it was the one where one of the guy was texting the N-word. Like, was it Max or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interchangeable. I don't know who they
Jax
are.
or Max. It was like one of
Max them. Or Brax or Brett. I don't know.
So what happened was, this went down. It was all over the place. It even made, with the N-word, it even made the national news. People were pissed. And so I had happened to be going out in West Hollywood that like a couple of nights later, and I always walk by Sir. I used to live around the corner from Sir, so I always walk by it. So I walked by Sir, and I swear to you, so the way that Sir is situated, it's kind of in the middle of the block. So it's like halfway through the block, and then the next main street is like the corner of Melrose. And there literally was a line of Black people and only Black people from the entrance of Sir all the way down to the corner.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? And then I look inside Sir, and it's only Black people, like only Black people. Right? Like not even James Kennedy was there DJing. It was even a Black.
What was it? Like a special Juneteenth celebration?
Right? and so my thought was, I turned off and going, oh, I bet Lisa decided to have a Black night. And in LA, some of the clubs have like rotating nights. So sometimes it's not uncommon.
Yeah, even in
club to have like a Black night.
Yeah.
Or club to have a Latin night. It's a normal thing.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh my God, look at all the Black people going into SUR. And so I posted on our group, I just walked by SUR and there's a line of Black people waiting to get into SUR. I guess it's Black night. And then I kept it moving, went on about my night, went to bed. Well, I woke up the next day to an eyeful. How dare you? How dare you say it? How dare you say there's a line of Black people? You need to do better. and saying I was a racist.
So funny.
I forget who it was, but someone took one of my pictures and was like, this is less.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun times. That's how you get to know people, is like when things go down like that, and then you get to know it. See, I knew you and I have corresponded and we have chatted, but it was like, oh, he's a funny guy and he's in West Hollywood. But you really don't get to know anyone until something like that happens, like something pops off like that. And then you're like, oh, I really like this person and I really get to know this person, right? So yeah, that was fun.
Like through the trauma of it all.
Yes.
Yes.
Now that I've mentioned race, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. So this time was it last Tuesday or was it last Wednesday?
Tuesday.
So this time last week, we were witnessing racism on television. This time last week was the Dallas reunion, where Cameron Westcott basically showed her ass on national television. Mm-hmm. And then, to peek into the future, and the Westcott family,
then she zoomed in on that.
Right. Right. And the thing is that I find is sad is that to people of color who watch the network, it's at the point now where we aren't surprised anymore. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about this whole thing? Because the way that I feel about it, is it just me, or did it seem like all of this stuff just started happening overnight, like overtly?
I think the thing that we need to know, I think the reason why I feel it feels overt, or it feels more in our face now, and maybe it feels like it happened overnight, is because Bravo suddenly decided to add people of color to these shows. Mm-hmm. And now the conversation has changed from, what is Real Housewives? It's about a bunch of ladies, a bunch of wealthy, usually out of touch women having fun, getting drunk, and getting into petty fights. That's what the show's about. And you add in a person of color, specifically in Dallas, where you have history, most recent history of one of the cast members behaving in a racist way to that group of people. You decide to put in that group, somebody from that group, into the cast. And then you're like, I wonder if they're going to be friends and be able to get drunk and just have fun. And it's like, that's never going to work, because now Tiffany joins the show and she has to carry the burden of representing every single Asian person, of quote unquote forgiving Brandy, of introducing everything she does. So now every single thing that Tiffany does has to be viewed from a racial lens. It doesn't get to just be Tiffany eats dim sum on weekends with her family, and this is what Chinese people eat. It's now going to be viewed as, how are these white women reacting to Tiffany eating dim sum? You know what I mean? And it's like, to some degree, I think it's important, because now we got to see that they all showed their ass, right. But at the same time, it changes the narrative of the shows, and it becomes I think it's an unfair burden to put on Tiffany. I worry about the same thing with Ebony in New York. I'm so excited for her to be on the show, But now every single moment that Ebony is on TV, she has to make sure that she is making a point, whether it's her clothes or her mask or the things that she's calling out. When the things that Ebony is calling out could have very well been called out by other white women on the show for years and years and years. But now it's on Ebony to fix that. And so when you change that up and when you add that layer into it, it changes the entire focus of the show. And I think the biggest thing that we noticed is that Andy Cohen, Andrew Joseph Cohen.
I love that everyone's saying his full name now.
I use his full name when I'm mad at him, okay? Like I do with my children, okay? Andrew Joseph Cohen is ill-equipped to be handling these conversations. He's still watching the shows and expecting the show to have the fun flair of drunk, wealthy women being petty. And he wants to even deal with the fights in that way, the way that he was entertaining Cameron's tweets or her quote unquote receipts, which only prove that she's a dumbass. He's entertaining it because he thinks it's hilarious, but he's not viewing the fact that Tiffany's being forced to sit there with her aggressor and her boss or whatever it is you want to call Andy is entertaining this bullshit and not shutting it down.
Right.
So while it feels like it's suddenly that we're now talking about race, it's also that Bravo is making really deliberate casting decisions in a really clunky way.
Right.
So one of the things that I have, and Noor brings up the point of, Bravo is now bringing the people of color into these shows. And when you do that, we are not in a post-racism environment at all. So the first thing that Bravo needs to address is the fact that they're bringing in somebody of a different race in there. And they cannot pretend that that's not happening. What Bravo wants to do is pretend that this is a seamless, friendly group. They already knew each other and they're coming together and they get to know each other, and they are all going to have the same viewpoint on basic basic stuff in their basic principles of how they live their life, what they eat, all of that. So then they can have other volatile interactions. But that's not true. The first volatile interaction that's going to happen is going to be about race, because that is the most upfront elephant in the room that you need to address right away. And they don't do that. They don't prep the cast about it. They don't prep the producers about it. They don't prep the writers about it. They don't prep any of the people that are handling these situations. And they are not quite ready to do that work before they bring a person of color on board. They don't bring a person of color on board with the knowledge that they have to make sure that they have a safe space to be themselves. And that's not there. And the next one that Noor pointed out was that Andy doesn't have the bandwidth. He doesn't understand. He's treating the race issue with the same amount of flippant behavior and flippant, fun times as eating a chicken foot issue or eating, a tweet issue or whatever. It's not the same. It's not equal. It's totally two different conversations. One is an Anderson Cooper conversation. The other is an Andy Jones conversation.
Right.
And Andy cannot handle the Anderson Cooper kind of conversation.
And
by the way, Anderson Cooper is not the right person either. I'm just saying, because he just got into trouble.
Oh, Anderson Cooper
that was
did?
Today, there was he was talking. They did 60 Minutes did a show on AI, artificial intelligence, and how it's biased against it's trained on white faces.
Right.
So it's biased against people of color. So there are these two African-American women scientists who proved that and have an organization that is fighting for AI to be trained. And there's just that disparity to be removed, right?
Right.
Because that is important, because AI is going to play such a big role in our lives going forward that needs to be addressed. And they did all the work, the prep, they did the interviews, they did all the materials, they did the research for 60 Minutes so that 60 Minutes could address it properly. And 60 Minutes instead did not have them on. and instead had a whole bunch of other folks, other white guys that were talking about this topic,
right?
But not the Black women who actually discovered and are making a big deal about it. And Anderson Cooper was part of that. So, it's not. I'm just saying that in terms of my previous point, I meant that it is a serious news issue versus a flippin' reunion issue, and we don't have that sensitivity or the subtlety when it comes to Andy Cohen.
And I think the other thing is that these women are brought on to, maybe it's not deliberate, but it feels to me that sometimes the women are brought on as like a PSA into affirmative action.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
They're not friends. The thing is, Ebony and Ramona are not friends. So their relationship is never going to be a natural friendship. Right. They are co-workers. Right. And Ramona is somebody who is very aware of why this woman has been brought on the show. And it's not right that Ramona's aware of it in the way that she is. But now it's sort of like, it's just an unnatural, very cringy, uncomfortable situation. Look, I'm very excited about Ebony handing Ramona her ass back. Okay, I can't wait.
By the way, okay, so you're both pretty new to Clubhouse, right?
Yes.
Okay, get right. Okay, this is my favorite thing about Clubhouse.
Okay,
so the housewives pop into the Clubhouse rooms.
I hear this.
And so I've had a chance to speak. I've had a chance to speak to Tiffany. I've spoken to Jill Zarin. I've spoken to Ebony, and they're really cool. So they'll answer your questions. So, when Tiffany came on, my question to Tiffany was, so Tiffany, and this is before all of this went down. This is like a couple of months ago.
Oh, wow.
And my question to Tiffany was, so Tiffany, do you feel that the network has your back? And her answer was, I don't know.
That's a no. That's a coded no. For no.
Yeah.
So last week, Ebony was on Clubhouse. And so basically the gist that I got, so Leah and Ebony actually are really friends. And then I don't know how this happened, but Ebony and Sonia ended up clicking. And so, we were talking about, because something else came up about Sonia. Something else came up about Sonia and her businesses. And Ebony was like, well, you know what? I've sat Sonia down and I've told Sonia, Sonia, you're valuable. And it was just like, she talked about this pep talk that she gave to Sonia. So they're actually friends. But I asked Ebony, so Ebony, I was watching that commercial when you told Ramona that you felt like you had been gaslighted, and Ramona said to you, well, you're gaslighting me. I was like, how did you feel in that moment? And Ebony's like, you know what? After that incident, I almost quit the show.
Wow.
So I am looking forward, but Ebony can totally, I think Ebony
can handle it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that Ebony worked at Fox News for many years. So Ebony can handle herself.
Yeah.
But not every woman that they pick is that savvy or that
and it's not even they don't have to be, and it's not about being savvy or experienced. It's really, Ebony can handle that because she's probably felt it more overtly and directly because she's Black, whereas Tiffany and a lot of us, like South Asians, are sometimes put into this odd mid-level where we are oftentimes pitted against the Black person in the organization. We are the model minority, and we are told, we are given certain perks so that we feel closer to the white superiors. And then we don't feel, we are considered, oh, look, she is behaving a certain way. And look, you see that the Black woman is still angry. And so why are you, and you are not angry. It's because I handle my anger differently, but you're also treating her worse than you're treating me, which is why she's angry. right? And so that is the difference, right? Tiffany probably is more experienced because she has been experiencing it a lot longer and more directly, whereas Tiffany probably didn't experience it as bad as Ebony did. So she doesn't quite know. She's probably experiencing it directly for the first time in this group because she's the only one there.
Yeah, and she's having to watch it play back as well.
Yes.
And that's the other thing is what Aarti touched on is, Asian people, Indian, South Asians, East Asians, we're all treated like the model minority because truly, if it comes down to something as simple as the color of your skin, we are in proximity closer to white than we are to black in certain circles. So that's why our proximity to whiteness is what gets us ahead. But our brownness or any of our otherness is always going to be the thing that pushes us down because white supremacy will never, ever let you win. White supremacy only thrives as long as people are fighting underneath them. And we get scraps, but Black people get even less than scraps.
Yes.
But then they'll tell us, no, look, see, you're a minority too, and you're doing well. And Black people, they're just lazy, and if you're there's a lot of immigrants Asian immigrants especially, that do start to believe it and say, yeah, well, that's true. I came here with nothing. What's their excuse? What's their issue? The thing is, white supremacy tells you lies to try to get you to believe that you can just have it all. You can pull yourself up by your bootstrap and you can get ahead, and Black people are just lazy. But the thing is, those are all the lies that they tell you to make sure that you continue to look down on each other and not ever look up and realize, oh, the problem is actually the supremacist that's trying to overlord over all of us.
Right. And sadly, a lot of South Asians and Asians believe that lie because that keeps them comfortable. That keeps them feeling they can live in better homes in the suburbs and their kids can go to better schools because they can move in with the, into the better what society levels or whatever to a certain extent. They can never move up, but they never get that point.
Right.
But a lot of them don't quite get that, and they believe that lie about.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing is that we are told this lie so that we keep our heads down. Tiffany likely has faced this type of racism throughout her entire life, but she did the model minority thing where she kept her head down. She said, I'm going to get a good job. I'm going to be a genius doctor. This is what I'm going to do. And because also capitalist society tells us that if you make enough money, then nobody can get you, right? You can be protected by your shield of money and success and titles and all that shit. And so Tiffany does that. She does all those things. She becomes a doctor at the age of 23. She has this amazing life, and she thinks she's going to come onto this show and these white women are going to celebrate her. But that's not what those white women are here to do. They're not here to celebrate you. Cameron Westcott, the Westcotts are not here to celebrate anybody but themselves.
Correct.
So that's not what they're going to do. And that's what Tiffany's dealing with. And it's disgusting.
Yeah. Now, I have a question for you. So the other day on Clubhouse, we were actually involved in two discussions. We were involved in one discussion that was moderated by Brandon last Sunday, and it was about performative activism. And I was so honored to be a part of that.
I cried.
I was so honored to be a part of that, just because we talked it out. And I was a little worried because we were involved in another conversation a few days earlier.
That's right.
That went a little left. So what I want to talk to you about is the one that went a little left, because the thing that bothered me about that conversation is that people were starting, how do I even put this? We were talking about the discrimination that the AAPI community has, and then someone else, a Black person, popped in and said, oh, well, no, it was almost like they were discounting what you were going through. Are you comfortable with sharing a little about that?
Yeah. So essentially what happened is somebody asked the question, have you guys seen overt racism by the Westcotts? That was what somebody had asked. And this is a person that asked, I don't remember what his name was, but it was somebody who asked who works within Bravo or in close proximity to Bravo.
Oh, and was it Dave?
No, it wasn't Dave. Oh, no. If Dave Quinn said that, people would have his head on like he would be done. No, it wasn't him. Thank God. Okay. But it was somebody else there. And they said, have you seen the overt racism by the Westcotts? Obviously, the brother-in-law and the husband, but what about Cameron? And we said, and a person spoke up and said, what do you have to do? Like say the N-word to believe that that's racism? There's a lot of different types of racism. Like what do people have to do in order for people in the higher ups to believe that this is racism? So I spoke on it and I said, essentially the core of the issue is that when you don't have enough representation at the table where decisions are being made, those people are never going to see the microaggressions. I know and I know Victoria from Asians Who Watch Bravo. Victoria and I have communicated so much, and she's like been the biggest, like she's been pointing it out since day one, Dallas. Right. And, we talked about the fact that there's certain types of racism that you are only going to pick up because you've experienced it. And so we desire for more representation at the table where decisions are being made, because then if there's an Asian person at the table, they can say, I know you don't think that that's overt racism, or I don't think that you understand that that's a microaggression, but I'm telling you what my experience is, and my experience is telling you that this is what it is. So a person responded to that saying, I don't think they quite got it. They said, are you saying only Asian people can understand Asian pain? Are you saying Black people can identify other types of racism? And she got real hyped up. And then before I had a chance to respond, somebody else responded for me. Then she got mad at that person for responding. I was like, oh my God. It was like the first time I've been on Clubhouse in months. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is too much for a Friday afternoon. Right. And then, but essentially that was what they were trying to come at, was trying to say oh, how can you sit here and say only Asian people can understand Asian pain? And I think she just misunderstood me, because what I was trying to say. Yeah, that's not what I was saying.
But at the same time, though, I'm not Asian. So I understand racism. Yeah. I know about racism, but I can't understand trauma and triggers that an Asian person would go through because I'm not Asian.
Right. But also it's like, because you're not Asian, you might not pick up on it in the instance that it happens, versus an Asian person would. The same with, us being South Asian, we may not pick up on some things, even within Asians, right? Yeah. South Asians may not pick up something that is that could be a trigger or could be microaggression towards an East Asian person, because we may not quite get it until that person speaks up and says, hey, wait a minute, that was offensive. And you're like, oh, okay. I should have said that. Or, and now I know that can be an issue. So I will be on a lookout as an ally when I am around this group. So.
Right. And I think that where these Bravo celebrities, and I've said this before, where they fuck up is, so they'll do a microaggression. And then you say, okay, hey, this was a microaggression and this is why. And then they double down the other way.
Yeah.
Until they get in trouble.
Yep.
But it could, because they're scared. It's really fear.
They're dumb.
They're dumb, but also it's fear. They approach the situation with a lot of fear of being canceled, right? Yeah. So that's where they're coming from. And this is not just Bravo liberties, right? It happens in our workspaces where a person in power or a white person or somebody who's white and in power sometimes will say something that is offensive, and you question them, and their response obviously will be defense and not really, it's defensive because they're scared. Oh, whoops, I made a mistake. But instead of owning up and being quiet and listening and saying, okay, I get what you're trying to say here. I should have been more careful and being humble. It's just people nature of people. Yeah. But where they go worse is when you do have a platform like the Bravo Liberties have, that they have a platform on Twitter and on Instagram and all of that, where they go on offense instead of defense, and they go like what Court did and go after Tiffany's job, tag her job. Right. By the way, his father has donated to that hospital, so they can actually influence her position and her job, which is even worse. It is even worse. It's unethical in so many ways for him to influence the hospital in how they handle her. Is terrible. That's horrible. That's where you are digging in and you're saying you are right and your opinions matter more than how Tiffany feels and how she was treated.
Yeah. And let's talk about the performative activism that goes on. Like, for example, so the Westcotts did their tweets, and then at first Bravo didn't say anything, and the Bravo didn't say anything. The Bravo fans were not having it. And I guess the Bravo fans spoke out enough to the point that Bravo felt that they should say something and do something. Which I think what they did was too little too late. And, having a special on IG Live, that was not effective at all. And B, they made a statement, but they made a statement saying that we are standing behind Tiffany Moon, but they did not say, but we condemn the Westcotts.
They were anti-racism, but not anti-racist.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's actually perfectly said.
Yeah. Right. So what do you do with that? How does that make any difference?
Yeah, I believe in anti-racism, but I'm not going to call out the racist.
And the example that I like to use is, so last year, was it 2 years ago, when ABC, Roseanne Barr said something racist.
Oh, yeah.
They got rid of her within 24 hours. Within 24 hours, she was gone. Yep. The show was called Roseanne. Within 24 hours, she was gone. They changed the name of the show and kept it moving.
Yep.
And this is one of the major networks. So if a major network can do this, why can't Bravo? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It baffles me. The other thing I noticed was that, yes, they made a statement after fans were, making a lot of noise. But I actually think what happened is Cameron does this thing. Tiffany comes on Twitter. She changes her Twitter bio to a previous Real Housewives of Dallas cast member. Then suddenly she takes it off and it's no longer says previous. It just says season 5 Real Housewives of Dallas cast member. And what that tells me in that moment is Bravo is taking the time to reach out to Tiffany over her Twitter bio. But what is Bravo doing about Court and Shart and Cameron? What are they doing about these people? Because again, rather than handling the racists, they're policing the people of color and how they're going to react to the racism. That's what they did with Tiffany during the entire reunion. The entire reunion was about, well, Tiffany, how do you feel about having to share your space with Brandy? Tiffany, how do you feel about how Cameron responded to, the chicken feet thing? Tiffany, how do you feel about Cameron's disgusting dog food tweet or whatever that was? It's like, why are you asking the person who's been aggressed?
Yeah.
Go ask the person who's doing the aggression why the fuck they're doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, why is this about me? And again, in their statement, they made it about Tiffany. Yeah. And what that does for racists that are watching Bravo and cheering on Cameron Westcott is saying, look at that Asian girl. Look at her. She's so uppity. Look, she probably went and told Honest to Bravo.
She's playing victim.
She's playing victim. That's what that does. And what you need to do is you need to call out racism by fucking name.
Yes.
By name.
And some of these Bravo groups, I had to, other than the Bravo group that we belong to and the Bravo group that I have for this podcast, I had to leave all Bravo groups. I had to go.
Yeah, in the words of Taria Faison, who's the host of What Else Is
I love Taria. I love Taria. She's been on the
Facebook
show.
is the devil's taint.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to be on, Taria's been on my show, and I'm going to be on Taria's show this weekend. I love her.
We love her.
But so what happened with, I heard that Stephanie did something and then she had to take down her tweets today.
What?
She did something.
Today?
And
Today?
I don't know. The tweets disappeared, but people said, oh, did you notice that Stephanie took down her tweets?
Oh.
But I was like, what was Stephanie saying? I don't know. Somebody send me the screenshots because I don't know what Stephanie did. But somewhere it's alive somewhere on the internet, so we'll find out. But then the other thing was none of her castmates, none of the Dallas castmates have spoken up. Not one of them have spoken up.
If there's a tweet out there, it'll probably come up on Club Bravo tomorrow.
Yeah.
Club Bravo is really good about like when things happen, they call it out. They call it out like immediately. So I'm sure it'll be a topic of conversation tomorrow.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, Stephanie's also a big mess. She just sat there. She said 3 words.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And she has Asian in-laws, it turns out.
Okay.
I don't know.
It drove me insane that when they had when the shooting happened in Atlanta, first of all, nobody said a damn fucking thing for like at least a whole day. Okay. I think Deandra may have been the only one. And because Deandra and Tiffany are actually friends.
Right.
And Stephanie, like a day or two later, posted a picture of herself with her husband's half brother, who happens to be part Asian. I think they're Thai.
Yeah.
And she was like, you guys know, we love the Asians. You got to meet my brother-in-law, who we love so much, blah, blah, blah. It was like the most performative bullshit I've ever seen. It was like, wouldn't the gut be like, oh, after everything that's been going on, I've been so lucky to get to know Tiffany Moon as like my new friend. And I can't believe X, Y, and Z. And I would never let something like that happen to my friend. No, you're talking about your brother-in-law that showed up for half a scene how many seasons ago? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Right.
Stephanie.
And this is what I hate about the whole performative shit. So someone does something racist, Bravo makes their dumb blanket statement, and then you go on these devil's taint fan pages, which that's what I'm calling them from now on. Thanks, Taria. You go on these devil's taint Facebook pages where someone's like, I miss Stassi. And then you put Stassi's a racist. And because of the Bravo statement, their thing is, well, she said sorry.
Yeah.
And it never fails. It never fails. They say that.
Yeah.
And so what do you think?
But it's also something we have to understand is the Bravo fan, right? It's all age groups too.
Right.
There are older fans that are set in their ways. There are younger fans who don't quite know how to approach a situation in a mature fashion. And we don't know, when we are talking online with folks, we don't know what their age is, what their, how many years have they been watching? Do they understand the gravity of the situation? Or are they like old and set in their ways and they are just racist and they were just have been racist? We just don't quite get it. So it's a mix of folks.
I gotta say,
in some ways, it's actually a good reflection of society. I feel like it's a good slice of this is what's happening outside in the world.
I gotta say that there are a couple of Devil's Taint pages where they aren't that old. They're very Karen-like, but they're not that old.
Yes.
And there's another page that's linked to a podcast that is not only the Devil's Taint, it's the Devil's Balls too. That does
I think we all know who we're talking about.
That does a poll. That does a poll. That pisses me the fuck off. I get
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not going to mention the name of the podcast, but I'm going to talk about it.
Okay, well, you don't have to mention the name of the podcast, but if you listen to The Reality Is, we talk about this stupid ass poll all the time.
Because this is what annoys me about fellow podcasters who say that they're allies. There are a couple of podcasters out there, and yes, this is shade, and yes, the other day I said it from the Clubhouse room as well, who will say they're allies, will say, oh, we're gonna have people of color on our podcast. And we're gonna, we're fighting, and they have the black square in their on their page. But when the river meets the road, they will have their polls and then not call out their members, or they'll do things where, as a distraction the other day, when all the shit was going on about Tiffany Moon, Bravo all of a sudden decides we're going to put our new lineup on Instagram, and as a distraction, and we all know the tricks. And the people who are like, we're allies, are the first ones to go, oh, we can't wait to watch the next season, and mention nothing about Tiffany Moon.
Yeah. How convenient that during, sorry, go ahead. It's finished and then
No, go ahead. No.
How convenient that the week that Bravo is literally everybody has they got their pitchforks out like against Bravo right now. They're like, BravoCon is happening. And we're like,
right.
Okay, but like, are you going to have a panel about the racist shit that we're seeing on Bravo? Are you going to include people of color? Because the other thing is BravoCon is pretty much a convention for wealthy, middle-aged white women to come and get drunk and buy their bullshit. And it's such a shame because I do believe over the last year, especially, there's been like a podcast baby boom. And everybody decided to do a podcast because we got sick of tired.
Not us.
But it's such a shame because we have so many smart voices talking about Bravo, and it's really important because I do think that watching reality TV gets a bad rap, right? Where you're watching trash, trash. But Aarti, what did you call it? A sociology.
It's anthropology. It's a study in anthropology. It's a study in modern anthropology.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a study in modern anthropology. And you do get to learn and understand so much about people when you watch these shows, especially when you watch it in this view. But when Bravo's biggest concern will always be their bottom line, and their bottom line will be fueled by the Karens of the world. Unfortunately, that's the truth. And to Aarti's point, I think that it is sometimes a slice of what's really going on in the world. I think that certainly there is a silent group of people who are like-minded, like you and I, that will listen and think about these things and understand the nuances of these situations. But the people that go out of their way to log into the devil's taint and talk about all this bullshit and support people like Stassi, or, agree with Kelly, or say, oh, let's bring, I don't know, I can't think of, let's Phaedra. Bring Leanne back. Let's bring Phaedra back. Phaedra accused her coworker of raping and drugging someone. No, you cannot have Phaedra back. And everybody talks about that read that Phaedra did to Kenya. That read is fucking offensive because it's super offensive to people who don't get pregnant or have children in a traditional way. Now you're looking down on people who go to sperm banks to have babies. What the fuck? And so you do have a lot of people who can't identify the problematic shit in the world. But it's just a shame because there's such a huge audience that doesn't look at it that way. That's like us. And Bravo isn't thinking about us, unfortunately.
And that's why, though, I'm glad that all of a sudden that there is this baby boom of podcasters of color who are, because, because I know for me, this podcast literally was just supposed to be about books, and that was it.
Yeah.
And, when I saw things like that poll and other things, I'm like, you know what? No. I need to start like speaking out too. And I need to get my voice out there too. And the thing is, with that poll, I heard that the co-hosts of that have been confronted more than once. And their answer is, well, we can't change how people think. And it's like, true, True. You can't change how people think, but you don't need to stay silent and sign off on it either.
Yeah, I know from a pretty good source that has called out that stuff, and that person has been booted out of their Facebook group, Devil's Teen group, for that particular podcast. And anytime anybody has spoken out against that podcast, doing a fairly racist poll, they've been excommunicated from that community. So
yeah. How judgy of them.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so good. It gives me life.
Because you know what? Because I'm done. I'm so done.
I agree.
Seriously, I'm so over it. And you know, that's one of the things that I do have to say about the Geraldines is like, and especially like the group that we belong to, they will know that does not happen.
Yeah.
That does not happen there.
We call out each other, and I think for the most part we sort of listen.
Yeah.
We listen.
Yeah.
We have all made mistakes. I have made mistakes. I know I have.
I have.
We have all made mistakes, and we have been all called out, and we listen and we apologize, and we still hang in there. We don't disappear. We're there. We're contributing, and we talk, and we learn from each other.
Yeah.
Learning and growing.
Okay. So, all right. So Beverly Hills starts tomorrow. Right? And I'm a little worried about Garcelle.
Yeah.
Not about Garcelle's
Crystal.
behavior.
You're not worried about Crystal?
Okay, here's the thing about Crystal, though. I'm kind of worried about Crystal, but Crystal's husband is very powerful in Hollywood.
Yes.
So I don't think they're gonna fuck with her so much because Crystal's husband is like way up there in Hollywood. So and don't get me wrong, I'm not worried about Garcelle being able to handle herself because Garcelle can handle herself. But I'm worried about them coming after her now that Denise is gone. What do you think?
Aarti, go ahead first.
I think Garcelle is going to take sit and watch these fools kind of attitude. I hope she does that and just watches them go at each other. This could be the season where Garcelle gives us more about herself and bothers really not at all about the rest of the crap. And I think Sutton is the one that is taking up the mantle of going against Erica because Sutton doesn't believe any of the BS that Erica is putting out. So she's like, nope. And Garcelle and Sutton are super friendly now. So I'm hoping that friendship lasts and that is actually a meaningful friendship there. So I think Garcelle is going to be fine. I don't think she's going to really engage in too much in their drama because she understands that this drama, the cast is going to change. You can tell that there is going to be some change because of everything that Erica is going through.
Right.
Yeah, I think the dynamic is also different, right? So last year, the main target was Denise, and Garcelle was trying to help Denise. So if you notice, the way they came for Garcelle was really not coming for her. They were still coming for Denise. So it was almost like they were dismissing Garcelle and still just coming for Denise, despite what Garcelle was saying. I think the Beverly Hills ladies, for the most part, are it's a mix of two things. I think they're smart enough not to comfort Garcelle. And I don't know if you want to call it smart. I think they're aware enough not to comfort Garcelle in a way that's because they know of the optics of how this looks. And nobody is more concerned about optics than the ladies of Beverly Hills. To a point sometimes when that show gets boring because of it. But there's that. And also Garcelle has spent enough time in Hollywood around these types of women to really know how to read them and check them and keep them in their place. That being said, I did see a preview on Twitter of they released a clip of Garcelle and Rinna talking. And Garcelle, honey, is not holding back. Garcelle is like,
I love that.
Answer for your fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Just answer for it. Garcelle's not making any type of like, she's not giving them any excuses. She's like, why did you do this? Why were you terrible to Denise? Why were you terrible to Denise? And, you know, Lisa Rinna is not somebody, she's got a lot of bark, but not a lot of bite.
Right.
And ultimately, when she's pushed into a corner, she does the old thing where she pretends to have, she doesn't remember what she did or why she did it. And she'll ultimately just apologize a little bit like Ramona in that way.
Yeah.
But
But I loved speaking of Ramona, and you know, the scene where Ebony goes to Ramona's house. I think it was in the last episode. And she keeps telling Ramona, this is a beautiful room. This is a beautiful house. And Ramona doesn't respond. And she's like, Ramona, this is a beautiful room. I'm not sure you're hearing me.
Yeah.
You're not responding. So basically she takes up that space and she's like, was it Ramona or was it Sonia?
Yeah, it was Ramona.
No, it was Ramona.
Ramona. And so she's like, I'm here and I'm saying something. You better acknowledge that I am here too. Yes. And I'm saying something. And I think Garcelle was sort of dismissed in a lot of conversations last year. And I hope she takes the Ebony approach this year and says, if and when I speak, you better give me the room and space and the attention when I do speak. And that's something that I absolutely love the way Ebony did it.
Right. No, Sonia did the cringy thing about the fish. Like, oh, look, we have a black fish and a white, look, there's a white fish. And then that's one of those where it's like, oh.
Who needs diversity in Bravo when you have the townhouse?
And then that's
when you have the koi pond in the townhouse.
And then that's a hard one because it's like, it's cringy, but then you're like, you know, she's trying and she thinks she's being cool.
Yeah, but she's doing it with the good intention of making sure Ebony understands that she's welcome and like there's, you know, but sometimes it's well intentioned, but it comes off really wrong.
And the thing is with Ramona, remember last year when they had that rap, the party with all the rappers, and Sonia was like right at home?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was right there. She was squeezing herself between those two guys. She's like, I'm staying.
And that's one that makes it hard. And let's talk about that a little more. That's like the Sonia behavior is what makes it kind of hard sometimes because it's like, you know, she's not coming from a bad place. You know, she's not being racist.
She's coming from an ignorant place.
But it's ignorant and it's problematic. And I think those are the harder conversations to have because the person isn't coming from a shitty place.
Yeah. Right. I think that with Sonia, the key is that Sonia is not out to hurt anyone. The likelihood that Sonia will hurt herself before she hurts somebody else is a lot higher. Yeah. So when Sonia does problematic shit, you're like, one, she's coming from a place of ignorance. Two, she's kind of dumb. She's probably drunk right now. Right. And so it's problematic, but it's ultimately not going to hurt a person. Right. I think the thing with Ramona and even Luann is they are the types of women that wield enough power that they could hurt somebody. I don't think anybody takes Sonia seriously.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a power dynamic. I mean, that's racism, right? It's like the minute that a white person feels like they have more power and control over a person of color. And yes, definitely, if Sonia decided to be terrible and call cops on a black person, yes, in that moment, Sonia would be racist. But we've not seen that behavior with Sonia. We've seen, you know, general problematic shit.
Right. Now, okay.
No, Sonia is the kind of person that everybody has in their family, right? An aunt or an uncle that's problematic. They mean well, but they don't know what they're saying, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And they're not good for mixed company,
right? and like I said, what I gather from the Ebony conversation, I think she and Sonia are friends. Like, she spoke very fondly of her.
Yeah.
So, but. Vanderpump Rules is back.
Oh my God. That's right. I forgot. Congratulations, DJ James Kennedy.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you guys think?
I'm really happy for them.
I'm
No,
so
I
happy
like
for
James.
them.
I like James.
No, I'm happy for both of them. I think they're perfect for each other.
Crazy kids.
The funny thing is, and here's the funny thing, no matter how bad James Kennedy's behavior was, I've always been Team James. Like,
Yes.
always.
Yes. All of
Yes.
us. All
Yes.
of us.
And because look at it this way. James is what, 20 something, 27, 28.
Yeah.
So while all these other people who were pushing 40 were acting like they were acting, James was acting like a 20-year-old.
Correct.
That's how 20-years act. So they were getting mad at him acting his age when they were trying to act his age and not succeeding.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And James also, again, another one where he means well and he wants to do well. He wants to improve himself, but he's just incapable of it and he struggles with it. So we identify with that struggle, right? So we identify with the struggle to be better. And he's trying. Right. And even when he is at his worst, he still speaks the truth. Right. He's saying the truth. He's just spouting facts. He just does it in a horrible, terrible way.
And James is problematic. Hello, white Kanye is like not great.
Oh, no. But, and white Tupac, Lauren.
Oh,
yeah.
But okay, so the difference between James and Lala is that James still has some level of humility and he still is willing to take on his mistakes and grow and learn and be a better person. He can be terrible, but there's usually a reason for why he's being terrible.
Right.
Whereas the rest of them, like you said, I think that was like a perfect thing to say. He's acting their age and they're just mad at him for acting the age they wish that they could act like.
Yes, exactly.
And also he's got such a sad backstory. His parents are so fucked up. Like, how can you not?
His mother and the whole, like, her stealing and buying Botox and all that stuff.
Oh, so insane.
So insane. Because remember the one scene where he was talking about, he was talking to them and talking about how he's giving them money. He put his brother through college. He's the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how can you not root for that? This kid is basically taking care of his whole family. What is Stassi taking care of? What the hell is Kristen ever taking care of? I will never forget Kristen Dowdy swearing on her brother's grave and her nieces and nephew that she did not fuck Jax Taylor. Okay.
Yeah. Well.
And it was the season where it all came out that she did. And it was like, oh, that's the moment I knew that Kristen Dowdy's a piece of shit. Like, we don't need to,
Yeah. Now, do you think that show can be salvaged?
No, I don't know. I like James Kennedy. I like Tom and Ariana.
I like, the Tom.
And I think I can tolerate Tom and Katie without Stassi. I think I can tolerate them.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't want to see them with babies. I don't want to see their babies. I have zero interest in that. I have zero interest in their adulting. I don't know who the new kids are and how good they are. Like, there are a few. I don't know how.
Do they have new kids? So they do have new kids?
Yeah, but it's like the kid from last year.
It's the girl from last year, Charlie from last year.
Charlie from last year.
So
I think she's the only one. No black kids. Still no black kids.
No gay kids, even though they're in the middle of West Hollywood.
No gay kids, no black kids.
They couldn't even handle what was her name again?
Billie Lee. They were fucking terrible to Billie Lee.
Yeah.
And here's the irony. Her restaurants in person are very diverse.
That's what I hear.
That's very what diverse. Heard. Yeah.
And that guy Richardson really works there because he's there all the time.
Yeah.
Richardson, I think Richardson was at Pump. I think Richardson is at Tom Tom now.
No, he was at Villa Blanca first, and then he moved to Pump. Yeah. No, he was at Villa Blanca, and then he moved to Pump when Pump opened.
I think he's at Tom, because one day I walked by Tom Tom, and he was standing in front of Tom Tom wearing a suit.
Ooh.
And this is before the pandemic. So I wonder if he's at Tom Tom now, because Tom Tom's open again.
Yeah.
But the thing is her, and that's it's all racial. It's totally racially diverse.
Yeah.
Wow. But I guess it's also like the people that were on that show initially are associated with such sewer garbage that I can imagine that a person of color might not necessarily want to tie themselves with that on TV, especially if you're a person of color that is, and I don't know, like Les, you're an actor. I can imagine that if you're a person of color that's looking for work in Hollywood where it's already hard for people of color to get by, then you tie yourself to a reality TV show where everybody is so problematic. I can imagine that would be tougher for you.
I agree. And this is, okay, so because this is something that a lot of people don't talk about. So, if you're an actor in Hollywood and you book a show and your show ends, you can go on to other things because you're an actor. Yeah. But have you noticed that the people on these shows very, very rarely go on to other things? Yeah. Especially on Bravo. And the reason why is, okay, so you're supposed to be yourself on this show and you're acting like a fool. Yeah. And when you're done, who's going to want to hire you?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I completely get it.
So the thing is, on these, unless you're like Bethany or, but the other successful people like Candy and Lisa, they all had their businesses before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you're someone like that, it's pretty much you're like a one and done. You have your run of the show and then
yeah. Then good luck with your like 100,000 Instagram followers and your flat tummy tea sponsorships.
Okay, I've never seen the ads for flat tummy tea. Does everybody have like are they all on the flat tummy tea ads?
Okay, so I think flat tummy tea is definitely like 5 years ago. I think now it's FabFitFun.
Yeah,
it's a FabFitFun boxes. Basically anything that the Zolciak twins or sisters or daughters, whatever the fuck they are, the Zolciak Biermans
spawn.
Whatever they are shilling is what the thing is. There's also the 360 shakes, which like Brittany did it from Vanderpump Rules and Shannon Bedore.
Okay, I wonder what Brittany and Jax are gonna
do. Sell their house and move to Kentucky.
Yeah,
get the fuck out of LA.
Because someone was saying, because they said that they chose to leave. But I've always heard that Bravo basically fires you, but then lets you say what you want.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, I think they might be on one episode of them looking for a house in Kentucky on HGTV.
No.
And that will be it.
He's really trying to get like either a corn sponsorship or an HGTV sponsorship.
He's going to get a pillow.
Yeah. And no, I was going to say, they're but he owes like $1 million in taxes or something, right?
Oh yeah. They have to sell that house. Like there's no way that they can continue to live this way. And Jax is really trying to like hobnob with Randall Emmett and trying to get like some production. I think he's trying to become some sort of a pseudo producer, invest some money into a movie so that he gets a return. But Randall Emmett is not the one, honey. Like that's not.
No. That man is barely hanging in himself.
And isn't Randall Emmett in trouble himself, allegedly? Isn't he allegedly in trouble himself for like?
I don't know how much trouble he's in. We should ask 50 Cent.
No, he also owes money to one of the designers because they were on who's that man? The Angry Man. He has a radio show.
From Jeff Lewis.
Jeff Lewis. So
Angry Man. Oh, like which Angry Man? Rush Limbaugh's dead. What are you talking about?
But I love that. I love that you knew exactly who it was.
Yeah. So Jeff Lewis's show, they were on Rand and Lala, right? And apparently one of his designers on it went on like either an Instagram Live or was on Radio Andy or something, and said that Randall Emmett still owes them money from that job, and he never paid them back. So I don't think I think they all I think that Randall might be paying his bills.
I think Randall's business
by Lala's makeup business.
Yeah, I think Randall's business runs on barter system. He's like, I'll do this. I have a PJ. I'll give you a ride, and you give me a.
He does not have a PJ.
Do an introduction. But he borrows the PJ from somebody else and he barters something else for that. So it's like, it's half of my cousins back in India do this.
Yeah.
It's like the barter system, right? You borrow from one, you lend to the other, you keep it moving. So you never know what exactly you have.
well, like Dorit, how the hell do they get these gigantic houses every season? And it's always a new house.
I know.
Boy George needs to look at his finances. Someone is draining Boy George's money.
I don't know, but let me tell you something. I'm absolutely fascinated by that woman. Okay, I love them, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why. I love Dorit. I love PK. Dorit's social media is off the chain. Even PK. PK has a friendship with Maurizio. Like, they're so entertaining to watch. And I actually hope the season on Beverly Hills, since it starts tomorrow, I hope that they start to incorporate the relationship between PK and Mauricio in, because that's one of the things we love about Jersey is like the husbands.
Yes, the house husbands.
So I hope that happens too, but I doubt it.
The thing is with Dorit just fascinates me because I'm like, how because you hear all the stories, it's like, how does she do it?
Yeah.
And each house, the newer house is bigger than the last one.
Yeah.
Perplexing. Nobody knows.
Because I run a clubhouse. I'm a moderator of a clubhouse room called the Bravo Detective Agency. And so we do deep dives on everybody. And we did a deep dive on Dorit and PK, and they've got some tax liens.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Bravo docket, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Bravo docket. The Bravo docket girls, the ladies there, they did they were going to do a deep dive on Dorit. I don't know if they did it already. I have to go look up their podcast. I missed a few. But they were going to do a deep dive on Dorit and PK's they were going to do that, and that's when the Jen Shah story broke out, so they went into the Jen Shah story. So I wonder if they went back to the Dorit story and they were going to do a deep dive on that finances and look at what the agreements look like and what that means and things like that. So I love that, because I love that legal shit.
Yeah, because I just wonder, like, how do they get credit?
Yes.
How do they get credit? Like, seriously, because it's public record, their stuff. But I do but that's the thing, I do like her though. I do like her. So what was it? Oh, and now what do you think about Jen Shah and that whole thing?
I am not shocked.
Yeah.
Not shocked. It was shocking that it was more so okay, that's a lie. I was shocked when it happened. It was amazing. It was groundbreaking information that we all got. It was a moment I will never forget for the rest of my life. That being said, I knew that something was off as soon as she showed up on my TV. And as we've talked about this on our podcast before, I have a lot of problems with the way that she drops Muslim phrases as a Muslim woman. I don't like the way she drops them in the middle of the show. It really bothers me. I find it to be very problematic. And my other thing is, like, us Muslims have been painted bad enough. We don't also need to be bundled in with this MLM scam.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So what do you think about this? And this was brought up. I love how it's like all roads lead back to Clubhouse people. I was listening to a conversation. And because remember how Jen Shah said when, in Utah, people thought she was Black but someone brought up something very interesting, and I'd love your take on this.
Yeah.
So someone was on Clubhouse the other day, and he was like, I'm from Utah, and I'm Mormon, I'm from Utah. And so Jen Shah is saying that people mistake her for Black, but there's actually a large Tongan community in Utah because the Mormons went and, what would you call it, proselyte? Missions.
Yeah.
They went on missions, and so a lot of these people ended up coming back to Utah. And so it's not uncommon to see a Tongan person or a Pacific Islander in Utah.
Yeah.
So they were basically calling what she said bullshit. How do you feel about that? What do you think about that?
I believe that 100%, because if you ever look at pictures of Jen Shah before she started to get plastic surgery to make herself look more black, before she started blackfishing, essentially, she looks very Asian. Like there's not, like I could see that maybe somebody might think that she is mixed because yes, she has Asian features. Yes, she has browner skin than most Asian people, but she looked like an Asian woman. And I think that she's not just co-opting Black culture, she's also co-opting Muslim culture. And she's co-opting it in a way that's like extremely lazy and sort of built on stereotypes. The box braids, the thinking that she's like Remy Ma, like doing her like, almost like Love and Hip Hop type shtick. It's all built off of tropes, and it's not cute, and it's offensive, because other people don't get to do that and then get out of jail. You know what I mean? Like she had her box braids, and when she got arrested the very next day, suddenly her skin was back to being the color that it usually is. Her hair was straight.
Right.
And she wasn't being the way that she is now. Now all of her social media, she's got a very different look about her. She's suddenly not as confused for Black as she was before. It's bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're winding down. So let's end on a positive note.
That's the part of a Clubhouse that I'm also enjoying is this meditation rooms. Have you been on those meditation rooms in Clubhouse?
Yeah,
they're so good.
And there was another room. I went to an Oprah room where they literally played like Oprah tapes.
Oh wow! So
Clubhouse is a trip.
Then there was one where somebody started cooking, and she basically was cooking and talking about what she was putting in next. It was like a vegan cooking room, and so she starts talking about recipes and starts literally making it. You can hear her making it.
Right.
Oh my God.
And then you're just there and you're talking about spices and you're talking about condiments. It was so weird. Like
that's right.
Clubhouse is weird and kind of different from everything else that we have ever done. I never thought I would like it.
You know what room is funny? Go to the Patty Stanger. Patty Stanger has a room. And she calls it the matchmaker, and she gets on and talks about matchmaking.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that, like I said, the more you're on there, like especially the Bravo State of the Union on Fridays, Housewives totally pop in and they talk. Like the other day, Kate Chastain popped in. And but it's really cool because you get to ask them questions.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which then can turn into your Patreon episode for your podcast.
Oh, look at you! You're so smart. We haven't launched our Patreon yet because mostly because I'm lazy. I haven't done it yet.
I don't know how to launch one, so I'm not even trying. I'm not even trying. If any of those things happen on our podcast, it's all Noor.
You know what it is?
I don't do much. I just come and talk.
We're also like the immigrant mentality is like, I feel weird asking anybody to pay for something of mine. Like, I'm like, don't pay me. And then if you are going to give me money, I need to make sure it's like perfect. And then like, I'm a Virgo. So then that gets into like a whole other headspace. So I have
Right. And the thing is, I've learned, like, because it's like with the books and stuff, like I buy them. And so it's like, a couple of bucks, like a $1, $2. Like I'm not asking for like,
Yeah. No, I think you're doing
no, yours makes sense.
Yeah. We're just talking.
Talking's work. Talking is hard work.
It's actually, but also I think of it as my therapy. So I feel like, no, I should be paying you. Helping me talk.
Okay, well, Aarti, Les, you're gonna have to cut that out of the episode because now we can't ask anybody for money because they're gonna be like, no, actually, that Aarti made a point.
Me. So let's try to end on an up note. What show do you think did it right this season? As far as like, didn't act a fool, didn't fuck up the diversity hire? What show do you think did right?
I think Summer House actually did a really good job. Because it was seamless.
Right.
Because in Summer House, you didn't have to teach these white people a lesson because you knew that they already knew what was up. You did get a chance to just focus on petty shit, but they did have like one conversation between Sierra and Danielle about hair. And that's such a big deal in for women of color, especially for Black women, and them talking about it so seamlessly was so beautiful. It was done so well. I think Summer House is doing amazing. I'm really nervous because most of the time they say shows go great for 5 seasons and then after that they fall off. And then this one for me, the next one is obviously Married to Medicine. Married to Medicine is absolutely the best show on Bravo. And we don't talk about this show on our podcast, but Top Chef is actually, if you don't take like reality
doing a
TV,
good job now.
Top Chef is probably the best of Bravo. Top Chef has always been so good. And especially this season, they've been focusing on such amazing things and activism. I like cry every episode of Top Chef. It's a mess, but it makes me so happy.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Aarti,
I think Summer House it's done, so I can tell Summer House did a good job from beginning to end. Hannah, the stuff about Hannah was annoying, but also kept the story going, and there was something there to watch, and everybody responded in a very responsible way to all of that. So it was really well done. I think next year, and I hope that without Hannah, it's still going to really just come in and focus more on their friendships. And, that's why Summer House works, because they're really, truly friends, and they would be hanging out in the summer anyways. So they would have done this anyways, right? So that's why it works. I think the other show that I think is done well so far is Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Jersey has done a good job. New Jersey has done a good job of keeping it light. Every episode has been just fun.
Yeah.
Every episode has been entertaining. There's drama, but it's petty drama, that it's fun drama. It's not, it wasn't as heavy and aggressive as Dallas or any of the other franchise, because the other franchise would cause actual anxiety when you watch it. You're like, this is what I go through at work. This is what I go through in my real life. And now I have to watch it on TV as well. But Jersey kept it light and fun. And I loved it.
And here's the thing about Jersey. I bet if a Black or Asian person came onto Jersey, I bet they wouldn't act a fool.
Yeah, I agree.
I bet they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because did you know that at one point Teresa and Nene were really good friends?
Yeah, I've heard that.
And after this whole Housewives mashup vacationing thing, now Teresa and Kenya are really good friends.
And Melissa and Kenya, they are good friends. Right.
Because I saw some article where Teresa bought Kenya
for
Brooklyn.
For
she
the
brought
baby.
like her an outfit.
Yeah. But Melissa and Kenya are hanging out like today and yesterday or something. They were in New York at somebody's wedding, and they were there too.
I believe those friendships, and the reason why, especially because I'm from North Jersey, I'm from the area where the Real Housewives of New Jersey are from. Even though you do still have pockets of Italian people hanging out with the Italian people, and you definitely have problematic shit that white people will say to people of color in North Jersey. And I'm pretty sure everybody in Real Housewives of New Jersey is a Republican except for Jackie.
Maybe Jackie, yeah.
Maybe probably not Jackie, and I think Marge and Dolores is like on the fence.
Right.
But the area is very diverse. And so it wouldn't be like a fish out of water like you have in Dallas. You wouldn't have those situations.
Yeah. I would be interested to see if there's an Indian or South Asian person that comes on Jersey, because it's such a huge population of Chinese and South Asian.
There's a black girl testing right now.
I bet this time next year, every Bravo show will have a Black person or a person of color.
But not just one. That's what we keep saying. We should have two. Or at least two people. So you have somebody else that It's not just one person coming on.
And I agree with you on Summer House. And here's the thing. Summer House, I would dip in and out of it, but I was never like into it. I didn't hate it. But I just kind of would dip in and out, like, you know, when the twins were there. And I knew mostly about it just through listening to the guys, to Ben and Ronnie. Yeah. And so I knew about it, you know, because Ben and Ronnie are the reason why I get exercise done. Because it's like I throw on, like, when I'm exercising, I'll throw on a Crappens episode. And, you know, if it wasn't for them, I would not be in shape.
Yeah.
But this season with Sierra, and even though Sierra didn't even do all that much, the bar for me was set so low that as long as they don't do anything racist to her, then this is gonna be okay. Yeah. And literally, I remember when we got to the last episode, I was like, okay, we've made it this far. Please, don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything stupid. And then the reunion, I was like, okay, come on, let's make it through the reunion. Don't do anything stupid. And we did it.
Yeah.
And isn't it sad though that that's what we've got to like, okay, she didn't bring much to the table, but they're not racists, so it's all good.
Yeah, I thought it was great that she had, when they did the bar crawl, she did a trap room she did like an ATL, and it was like a crack den, and it was just still hilarious, and nobody made a comment about it, because if it was like a racist person on the show, they would make a comment about her making a room like that, but they didn't. They were like, oh, how fun, yay, ATL, whatever, party, and they drank, and
I didn't even realize that's what she did. I'm just like, what?
It was hilarious, and she just did it, and it was like casually done, and they just moved on, you know.
Yeah.
So
and this is another sad thing too. I was expecting something racist to happen. I was just expecting it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I think if the Workus sisters were on, the twins, and
that might have been something.
And the other guy, Steven, I think you may have had that, because I think they got kicked off the show because they were racist.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I wouldn't. Nothing shocks me about this. Yeah. Nothing shocks me. Nothing.
Also, another show that I love, and that we've only watched one episode, but Aarti and I just talked about it last night, is Shaws of Sunset.
Oh,
it got good again.
It got so good.
I was laughing from beginning to end. I was laughing the whole time.
Because it went through some rough years.
Yeah.
I was just listening to Ben and Ronnie about it, and this is a joke that they made, and I was like laughing my ass off, because Ronnie brought up the fact that when Tommy says that he calls Destiny the Count, right, from Stephanie. And then when Destiny is looking at her phone and talking about how many pictures that Paulina sent to her, she's like 1, 2, 3. I didn't even make that connection. She was counting like the count. It was so hilarious.
It was so my husband is not a Bravo watcher.
Same.
But one day I was watching Shaw's, and he comes into the room, and he was like, oh God, that guy hit on me once. Reza.
Oh, wow.
You have had some brush with a few reality TV folks, because you are also roommates, or you're friends with the roommate from the Bling Empire, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Kevin's roommate. Kevin's roommate is your friend, right?
Yeah. I've known Kevin for years.
Oh, wow.
and here's the thing. Okay, and that's a good point though, as far as, so now streaming, we were getting shows like House of Ho.
Yeah.
We're getting shows like Bling Empire that are good on different channels. So do you think that that's going to kind of put a light of fire under Bravo's ass, do you think?
Not necessarily. Not yet. It hasn't made a ding in Bravo's lineup and their brand at all. Not yet.
As long as there's a Below Deck and a housewife on TV, Bravo's fine. And if they don't have that, they'll just play reruns of Chrisley Knows Best or whatever the fuck.
Oh gosh. Because some of these
how to lose a guy in 10 days. That's what they will put out.
Right. And then which is always on, or Harry Potter, like they're playing Harry Potter.
Yeah. They're playing Harry Potter on Bravo. That's like, it feels icky.
but the thing is with these shows, there is some House of Ho was really good. Did you see that?
Yes, we loved it.
And then Bling Empire, where they really have money.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then did you see the show yet? I'm blanking on the name, but it's the Black family, and they work in a mortuary.
We love them.
We love
them. Buried with the Bernards.
Yes.
Buried with the Bernards. We love that entire family.
Oh, what a show. What show. What a beautiful show about a Black family living in the deep South, taking something like Black Death and turning it into lemonade. I mean, my God. What a show.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It's beautiful. The characters, the family, the grandmother. Oh my God.
I love the grandmother.
Yes.
It's just beautiful. And it was well made, well done. And it was very, very well done.
Right.
That show.
So what is, before we go, what is your hope for the channel that we love, but we hate, but we love? It's like an abusive relationship. I feel like Tina Turner almost, because it's like,
well,
what was it like? I like an abused, like, because it's like I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with Bravo. It's like, it hurts my feelings, but then I go back, and then it hurts me again, and then I go back, and I can't quit it. But
yeah, well, that's the premise of our podcast. Is why we do it. Is like a problematic relationship with reality TV. It's problematic, and this is therapy. That's all I can say.
I think that my hope for Bravo is, I know for a fact that Kandi Burruss is a big deal at Bravo, and because she has Atlanta, and Atlanta has the highest ratings, even now, even with the sleepy season that they had. But I'm hoping that because Kandi is in the higher ups' ears, that Kandi can get more Black representation, because this whole fight that happened between Portia and Kandi, where Kandi said, Portia was trying to talk about her activism, and Portia had actually said, I'm going to the head. I'm going to Bravo, and I'm telling them that they need to start hiring more people of color in production and in editing and all of this stuff. And you need to have more people of color at the table where decisions are being made. Kandi's the reason why we had that, the race in America, this is a movement, not a moment thing for Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Kandi's the reason why that happened on Bravo. So I'm hoping that Bravo notices those things and notices the people's response to those things and starts to slowly make change. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time. But I actually also think that Andy does listen, and they do care, but they're just trying to slowly figure out how to make those changes in a way that can continue to keep their brand, because their brand is also trash. Like,
yeah, it's not like the greatest brand that you need to, it's not like this is going. It's not like we're watching PBS, right? So it's Bravo. It's Bravo, but it's also, Bravo is also a very real slice of society. So that's why I enjoy watching Bravo, because it really truly reflects the society around us. So I hope that Bravo takes a moment and understands that unless you have people of color and diversity in every room, you are not going to see, you will always run into these issues, and this is going to erode your entire brand. If the thing that happened with Dallas continues to happen with every other show for the next year, Bravo is done. Bravo is done. People are going to walk away from Bravo.
Right. And remember, Atlanta's the top rated show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I hope Potomac finds its voice.
Is up there. I think Potomac is up there.
It is. Yeah. Potomac is like a underdog. That's like amazing. People love it.
Yeah.
Right. I think someone was telling me the ratings. I think Potomac did just as good as Atlanta.
Wow.
last year.
You know, ratings wise, New York doesn't always do that well, but New York is a very memeable, it's a very funny, it has like a cult following, but ratings wise, Beverly Hills apparently has amazing ratings, which doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah. That's why Beverly Hills still survives, because it has ratings and people love that show. I don't know why.
I also hope that people watch these shows, and what we always like to come out with it with our podcast, like that our bottom line isn't that we're not trying to necessarily, of course, Dallas is different because these people are egregious and it was really bad, but we're not necessarily saying every single person that does something problematic should be fired. Right. I don't think Ramona Singer should be fired. To be honest, I didn't even think that Hannah, I know Hannah left the show.
Hannah didn't have to be fired. But I would have enjoyed her coming back and getting into trouble next year. Because I would have been fine with it.
Yeah, but people want to do that nowadays a lot. Like, oh, so-and-so said something problematic, let's fire them. We're not about that.
Let's get into this for a second.
Yeah.
Because this is so funny because I'm like, we're gonna wind down. And I'm like, but no, this is important. We need to talk about this. Okay, one of the things that boggles my mind is these people that have these petitions or these change.org petitions to fire Bravo people. What the hell is that about?
You know, in the words of Kourtney Kardashian, there are people that are dying, Kim.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need that. Do a change.org for something else. But
there are literally people dying in my home country. And then I see a change.org for that. And I'm like, how about ventilators for COVID?
Yeah. Right.
This is not worth it. So you just have to shake your head and move on, because moveon.org is what you have to do, because this change.org is not quite working for us. Just moveon.org.
Because let's face it, I hated Teddy. And I wanted Teddy off that show.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't start a petition. I've got a job. Like, I have things to do. You know, I've got a kid. I don't have time to do petitions.
Filling out those forms. They make you share your personal information.
But also that information goes to whoever started that petition at change.org.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah. So you don't even know who started it and who's collecting your personal information. So if you're putting your name in there, you dotabuds, your identity is being sucked, right? So it's going to a stranger.
It's going to Jen Shah.
Jen Shah, really, truly.
Right.
And you're going to now start getting, calls about your about your car payments or something of that sort.
Like we have a love for reality TV, and we know that it's problematic, but our whole thing is that you can love something that is like you said, it's a little bit of an abusive relationship, but I think it all comes down to wanting best. Like, the reason why I go back to Bravo is because Bravo does make me really happy. During really dark times, I watched reality TV and it made me extremely happy. And that's why we go back, and that's why we speak up, because we know that Bravo could be better, and that's what we're striving to do. It's like, I just want you to do better. I love you. I know that you're.
We are rooting for you.
We're rooting for you.
that someone described, and I agree with that scene from America's Top Model when Tyra Banks was, we were rooting for you. And one more question, and then I swear I'm done. So, Andy Cohen, and this is my opinion, and I would love your opinion. Now, Andy Cohen there's some issues with him, yes, but I don't think he's a racist, though. There are issues, but that he needs, and he needs to be schooled, he needs to be told, but and I think there is some ignorance there, but I don't believe he's an all-and-out racist. What are your thoughts?
So Nene Leakes has said that Bravo is racist. And I think that there might be some truth to that, because if a Black person tells me that some institution that they were a part of is racist, my gut says I should listen to the Black person who's saying that their experience was one of dealing with racism. So I do think that there's some truth to it. I think the thing with racism and the term racist is truly all of us are a little bit racist.
I agree.
That's why we also have to actively work to be anti-racist. That's why you don't just read a book in June 2020 and then say, my work is done, I put up a black square. You have to keep working on it. And I think Andy, for sure, has said and done extremely problematic things. But I think Andy is also somebody who is capable of learning, because Andy knows, for no reason besides the fact that Andy knows that as long as he keeps learning, he keeps making money. So that's my thing is, I don't think he's a racist. I think he's capable of learning. I think he's not, he has no tact, like tone deaf. But I don't think he's racist. However, people have had experiences with him where they feel like he was racist to them. I'm going to believe those people.
Yeah. I think he's definitely problematic for sure, but he's, is it ignorance? Is it an unwillingness to put in the work? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he could be doing better, and I hope he does. But I think there's a heightened sense of people noticing what he does and how he, even the questions that he asked Tiffany, and then he flipped and he asked the very next question was something that would completely ignore what Tiffany had just said and was moving on. You go from a very serious topic to a very flippant topic when it's racism. People notice that kind of behavior. So I hope he understands that people are watching. So if that kind of attitude and performance doesn't change, and he's doing it because he's lazy, or he doesn't have the time, or he's not putting in enough effort, it's going to affect how people perceive him going forward. So something he needs to take seriously is all. This is something serious that he needs to pay attention to.
And it's so complicated, because on the one hand you have Nene, and I agree with you, Noor. Like, if someone says, I've had a racist incident with this person, we're at the point in our society, you have to believe it. You have to.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there are other people, like, I read Bevy Smith's book, and Bevy Smith is like, she loves him, and she's like, he's the person that like saved her career, or there's people like Candy, it's obvious he loves Candy. Yeah. It's obvious he loves Ebony. You can already tell he loves Ebony. So it's so this is like one of those nuanced things. Yeah. Yeah. But and once again, I'm rooting for him too. Seriously. Yeah. And this isn't even like a bitchy thing. Like I do want him to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we do love Bravo, and that's why we watch it, and we will stop loving it at some point if it goes down this path. We will stop, and that's going to be unfortunate for all of us, including Bravo. So yeah.
So before we go, how can the listeners find you?
Thank you, first of all, Les, for having us on. This was amazing and so cathartic, a word that Cameron Westcott still doesn't know. You can find us everywhere at The Reality Is Pod on Instagram and on Twitter. And you can find us everywhere podcasts are heard. If you click on our link on our Instagram page or our Twitter page in our bio, it will take you to any platform where that you prefer to listen to podcasts on. And while you're listening to us, make sure you go and rate and review The Reality Reading Rainbow. And you also rate and review us, because that's the easiest way to help your favorite podcast. It's the freest and easiest way. So thank you so much, Les, for having us. This was
fantastic. You, Les.
And thank you for coming. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad we finally did. We've been trying. We finally did. And And it's so funny because you know, before I was like, you know, people are like, I've got kids, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, I get it now. I get that. Like I get the concept of mom brain now because I all of a sudden have it.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on.
No, we loved it. Thank you.
Everybody else, keep reading. Bye.
Bye.